Perimeter of circles continue. Example 1. Find the diameter of a circle with circumference 55 centimeters. Now in this question, we are not asked to find circumference. Circumference has already been found. Okay, now what they are asking us to do is to look for which diameter did they use to calculate their circumference. How do you do this? Now the formula you are going to use for this is, you say D, which is diameter, equals to what? C over pi. I showed you this when we were doing finding radius, when we were finding radius last week. Don't forget, formula for finding circumference of a circle with diameter is C equals to what? C equals to pi d. So how did they get this formula? How did they get this? That's what I want to show you here. So since we are looking for diameter, so you divide both sides by pi. Divide both sides by pi. Can you see that? So pi will cancel pi here. So you are not having, pi cannot cancel anything here. There is no pi here, so you can't cancel any pi here. So you are not having C over pi equals to what remains here. You have cancelled this, you have cancelled this. It remains what? Only diameter. Is that taken? So you now say C over pi is equal to diameter, which is the same thing as diameter is equal to C over pi. Can you see that now? Alright, so that is how this formula was derived. Is that taken? So what is our diameter? It's not given. They say we should find diameter. So we say D equals to, which is diameter equals to, what is our circumference? You have 55 centimeters. Okay, so don't forget that this thing is the same thing as saying C divided by what? Pi. Is that taken? So you first write it like this, then you continue say D, which is diameter, equals to, what is our C now? Our C is what? 55. So write 55 over 1 divided by what? Don't forget 55 is the same thing as 55 over 1 divided by, what is our pi? They say we should use 22 over what? 7. Is that taken? So you can now continue here because of the space. Okay, so you now have, what's our, you have 55 over 1. This division will change to what? Times. So you have, when the division changes to times, the 7 will go up, 22 will come down. So you have 7 over what? 22. Is that taken? Okay, now you can cross divide as I told you before. You have 11 here, 11 will go here, isn't it? Yes. 11 here will give you 2. 11 in 55 will give you 5. So you have 5 times 7. 5 times 7 over 1 times 2. 1 times 2. That's what we have now. 5 times 7, 1 times 2. 5 times 7 is what? 35. Over what? 1 times 2, 2. Okay, when you divide this now, you have 2 in 3, that's 1, remainder 1. 2 in 15, that's 7. Remainder 1 over 2 centimeter. You can also write it like 17.5 centimeter. Hope you remember this. Okay, that's your answer. Example 2. Find the radius of a circle. You say you find radius with the following circumference. The first one is 6.6 meter. Now don't forget that when you are finding circumference with radius, there is a formula we use, isn't it? So I told you last week that we use what? We use C equals to 2 pi r. This is for circumference. We are looking for circumference with radius. But this time, because of this, I showed you how to derive the formula, isn't it? So this one, we are looking for radius. So divide both sides by 2 pi. 2 pi. Okay? This will cut this. Okay? So we now have what? C over 2 pi equals to what? R. Because you have already cancelled your 2 pi here. So you have only R remaining, isn't it? So the formula you now use to find radius is now what? R, which is radius equal to C over 2 pi. So you can rewrite it normally. You write radius equals to C over 2 pi. Is that taken? Okay. Now don't forget, this is the same thing as saying R, which is radius equals to C. This line is what? Division. Divided by 2 pi. And don't forget yourself, you have what? Radius equals to C divided by 2 times pi. Okay, let's continue here. So you have your radius will now be equal to, what's your C in that question? What's your C? 6 point. The first question is what we are solving, isn't it? We are solving this first question. So your C is 6.6 meter. Don't forget, your 6.6 meter is the same thing as writing as what? 6.6 is the same thing as what? 66 over 10, isn't it? Okay, so you can change this. You have 66 over 10. Okay, that's your C. C divided by what? Divided by 2 times pi. Don't forget these 2 times pi, they are together. So you continue, you say 66 over 10. Okay, don't yet change your division. You have 2 times, what's your pi in the question? Pi, just take your pi to be 22 over 7, since it's not in the question. So you now have 66 over 10. Okay, don't yet change your division. 2 times 22, that will give you 44 over what? 7. So you now continue, say 66 over 10. This your division will change to times. So 7 will go up, while the 44 will come down. Divide now, you say what? 11 here is 4, while 11 here will give you what? 6, isn't it? So you can also say 2 here 2, 2 here is what? 3. So what you have at the top now is 3 times 7, which is what? 21, isn't it? 21 over what? 10 times 2, which is 20 in this place. So you have how many 20 in 21? That's 1. Remainder what? 1 over 20. What's our unit? Our unit is meter. So 1 over 20 meter. That's your answer.